Welcome back to the part 2 of this session, and in this session I'm actually going to work on this web form frm count the number of digits.aspx. Now within this web form you will notice that again, right, the presentation file of this web form is rather blank, right? And again, I would just want to go and use the div again. I always like to go and use the div in order to go and experiment stuff, and I will always provide div data because this is the most general name that I can think of every time when I do recording, right? And again, right, this is actually the starting command. I'm going to tell the browser, okay, I'm going to tell the browser that there is a this is actually a box. Okay, I'm going to tell the browser that, hey, can you please provide 3 pixels solid, right, black border, and give me a padding of 5 pixels, and give me a width of let's say 300 pixels, for example. So this is actually a set of styling code which is grouped under a class name selector called box. Notice that I'm actually calling this a class name selector called box, right, because of the dot in front here, So this one, of course, in order for it not to complain, I'll immediately put this type text equals to CSS. Now, so here I should actually just apply one class in order to go and tell the div that please use the box, right, so that the div data will know that, oh, okay, you want me to apply this styling command so that I can appear visible to the user, right? Okay, now, so I'm just going to use this box in order to go and display stuff, and let us actually begin here. Right, assume that right now I'm actually trying to go and create a variable, and this variable is called data again, and this data right now is actually containing, let's say, test, right? Then after I'll just put 1, then after I'll just put test again, then after that I'll just put 2. So in other words, I've already created a simple data variable that contains a string of characters read as test1, test2. Okay. Right, now the next thing is that what am I going to do in this experimentation here? I want to experiment how to write some simple logic to count the number of digits found within the data variable. So that is actually the objective. And normally in any written test, I will just actually say, hey, please provide the missing code here, and then I will just say, wish you all the best, LOL. Okay, now, sorry for the joking, right? I know that that's not funny, right? My apologies, but I still feel happy saying that. Now, so right now I'm actually going to start working on it. So notice that I want to go and count the number. Definitely I have to inspect character by character inside the data variable, right? Do I need to inspect character by character inside the data variable? That's why English is very important. Once I say I need to inspect character by character inside this data variable, what does it mean? It means that I cannot run away from what? I cannot run away from looping already, right? Right. And looping, there are two. One is using the for loop, and another one is the for each loop, right? So there are two versions. But here I would like to go and work on the for loop, right? I would like to go and work on the for loop. But if I want to go and work on the for loop, I will need a counter, right? I will need a counter. I will need a indexing counter, right? So many people use different terminologies. So if that's the case, right, I will actually create a index variable, and I will give it a starting value of 0, and I will actually just for index, right, equals to 0, index less than what? Less than data dot length, right? You notice that I'm using the length property because the length property will return me the total number of characters stored inside this data variable. And the next is that, of course, I need to go and increment the index variable, right? So I'm just doing a quick looping in order to go and see whether or not I'm successfully looping character by character, right? So I will just data dot How to character by character? Substring, right? Substring what? Substring, let me see. Substring index, right? Index will be a nice thing, right? Then of course character by character means that I want to extract how many character? One only, right? So that is the substring. And then of course I'll just use the BR text so that it is easier for me to go and see on separate rows. So this is actually a very quick looping technique that I would like to go and see whether I can successfully go through character by character or not. So notice that this is the major objective. How to go and write some simple logic to go and count the number of digits, right? But am I writing a full solution right now? No, I'm actually explaining, experimenting whether or not I can inspect or extract character by character in the first place, right? If that cannot be done, no point continuing already. So I will actually do a quick rebuild, and I will actually just try to go and view in browser in order and pray. You notice that, right? Test 1, test 2. So notice that it is actually being displayed nice within the box here. I like it. What does it mean? It means that I've already successfully gone through the first hurdle. I know how to go and use the substring to go and extract one character at a time. What does that mean? It means that it gives me a positive signal, right? That hey, if I can actually grab out character by character, which means that I can start checking whether the character is a digit or not, right? So there are many ways in order to go and deal with checking digit, but there is actually one neat way, right? Which a most basic way is I create another variable here, and I'll just call it as digits. Okay, I'll just call it as digits, and I'll just put 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? And then after that I'll just close it. So in other words, it's a string of characters housing all the possible digits, right? Now I have already successfully used this inner HTML property that belongs to the div data so that I can view in the web browser that my substring is working inside the loop, right? My substring is working inside the loop. So right now I don't want to display. I just want to go and create another variable, say character, right? And I will of course need to declare this variable first, right? String character. I need to go and declare it, right? So during the first pass of the loop, let me actually kill the BR tag. This is for display only. Okay, now so during the first pass of the loop, what is inside this character? It should be t, right? During the second pass of the loop, index will be what? Index will be 1, right? So 1 will be trying to extract the e out, right? So character will hold an e. During the third pass of the loop, index will sooner or later become what? 2, and 2, 1, I'll be getting the s out from the data variable and store inside the character. So this is actually going to help me. This character is actually going to help me to go and display something else for the div data right now, right? So this one inner HTML plus equal, and I will say digits, right? Digits. Notice that digits dot indexOf. IndexOf. Then I'm going to dump in the character here and close it. So in other words, this line is trying to what? Extract one character at a time, right? So first pass it will be t, second pass it will be e, third pass it will be s, right? Fourth pass it will be t, right? Then after that, fifth pass it will be a space. Okay, so every time when I extract out the character, I will throw in these information into the indexOf that belongs to the digits, and it will do a search. It will do a search in order to go and check whether this character is indeed a digit. If it is a digit, what is the outcome? If it is a digit, it should return me any value which is starting from 0, right? If it is not a digit, the indexOf method that belongs to the digits variable will return me a negative one, right? For example, if character is t is passed into the indexOf that belongs to the digits. Can t be found inside this digits variable here? Cannot. If cannot means what? Means that it will give me a negative 1. So of course I would like to go and view it inside the web browser to go and find out whether or not it is correct, right? I like to go and see my results vertically. Oh, I forgot to go and do a rebuild, so let me just do a rebuild and let me just refresh. What do I expect to see? I should expect to see -1 here, -1, -1, -1. Definitely this -1, and this one should be what? 1, and this one should be what? -1, -1, -1, -1, -1, and this one should be 2. I think it's 2. Yes, okay, should be 2. So let me actually okay, in order to go and make this experiment much more meaningful, let me purposely jumble up this thing here first. Okay, let's say I'll just put 9, 8, 7, say 1, 2, 3, then after that 5, 4, then after that 0. Okay, let me jumble up. So what do you expect to see inside the result here? -1, -1, -1, -1, -1, and what about this value here? It should be 3, right? It should be 3. Okay, so then what about the next one? The next one is -1, -1, -1, -1, -1, and this one should be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should be 5. Okay, so let me refresh, right? Refresh. So I think I forgot to do a quick rebuild, right? Okay, I should do a rebuild, and let me refresh. Right, see, this is a 3 and this one is, oh, this one is a 3 and this one should be 4. Okay, why 4? 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it is 4. Okay, right. So in other words, any characters that is actually a digit will definitely return a positive value from the index of. So this is how the indexOf is used, right? It is often used in order to go and find and match information. So based on this, right, I've already understood, my logic is actually quite clear already, but what is the purpose of this exercise here? I want to go and count the number of digits, right? So in other words, do I need a variable to go and keep my count? So int, I'll just put a counter, and this one have a starting value of 0, right? So in other words, that if it is a digit, it should give, I should increment the count, right? So I will just what? If what? If it is if this one actually returns me more than or equals to 0, right? If it returns me more than or equals to 0, I should be very happy enough to, right, means that this is a condition. If it is a yes, I should be able to go and increase the counter by a value of 1. Agree or not? Right, then after that, so this is the if statement here. Okay, so after the final loop, I should be able to go and div data dot inner HTML equals to, I'll just say that the total number of digits found is, right, then after that I'll just do a quick blank here, right, then after that I'll actually just do a string.format, right. Hope that you remember what is string.format, and this one I'll just put the counter dot to string here. Okay, so this is actually a quick way in order to go and display my final results, right? I'm using the string.format. Right? If you don't understand string.format, please check out the internet. Right, now let me actually try to go and so this is the complete command in order to go and see whether or not I can truly successfully count the total number of digits. So let me actually try out, let me actually refresh, right? The total number of digits found is 2, which is good. Okay, let me actually try out other things. Let me actually just put, let's say AE, then after that I'll just put a 9, then after that here I just put T2, then after here I just put 888, then after here I just put D. So how many digits do you detect here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? So I detect 6 digits with my human eyes. Now let me see whether our logic, right, so this is the logic, right, this is the logic. So let us actually take a look whether the logic does work for us or not. So let me actually try to go and refresh. I should detect 6, right? So in other words, this one is actually how we use this indexOf method, and the substring is often used in the loop, right? And remember, every time when your mind is thinking about I need to check one thing at a time and all this stuff, definitely a looping is inevitable. It is compulsory. You need to use a for loop already. Okay, but this is not all yet, right? You notice that these are all just hard-coded values for testing, and I would like to go and take this opportunity to touch on cookies, right? Cookies. What is cookies? Okay, cookies. Now let me actually try to go and add a new item, and this item is actually just called FRM, right? Provide data, right? So in other words, it's just a simple variable, and then here I'm actually just going to create a text box, id equals to txt data, and this one run at equals to server, and this one I'm actually just going to whack in the br here, and here I'm just going to asp colon button id equals to btn send. Okay, then after this one run at equals to server, and this one I'll just put text equals to what, send, right? So in other words, this one is a very quick two controls provided here. Then I'll just try to instruct the user enter something here, okay, into this text box. So I've already defined a presentation file, right, for this FRM provide data, which should look like something like this. The user will be able to enter some data here and click the send. But notice that this is actually placed in another web form, and the number of digits is in another web form, right? So how can a user provide some information inside this provide data form? Let's say the user key in something and click the send button, and this FRM count the number of digits is capable of retrieving those information. They are in two different forms, right? So there is a problem. We can't use variable. We will go nuts. It won't work. Is there another way or not? Of course there is lah. Right now, sorry for my I'm getting excited here because I can smell my pizza from the oven. Oh, my pizza. Okay, now come back. Right, okay, so in other words, right now here I will actually need to what? I will actually need to declare right a variable to collect data from the text box, right, the txt data. So what am I going to do? String data, right, equals to what? Txt data dot text, right? So this is collecting information from the text box, and then I need to go and write a cookie. I want to what? I want to create a cookie variable, not another variable, a cookie variable, right, which is called let's say any data, for example, right? A cookie variable called any data, right? This cookie variable is actually a very special cookie variable because I'm going to give it to my beloved browser, right? I am going to tell the browser, right, to store this information. Why? So that my other web form can retrieve it later. Okay, so how am I supposed to go and tell the browser to do something? I need to go and use something called response. Response. Notice that I did not declare anything. Response is a built-in object. Response.Cookies, and then I'm going to name this cookies my data, any data, right? That is the name of the cookie variable. Any data dot value, and I'm going to provide the data inside. Okay, so you notice that this is actually how I'm going to do things. But when I click the button, of course, I want the browser to automatically go to the other web form, right? So I will use the response object again, right? I need to tell my beloved browser, right, to what? To go to the next web form. And what is the next web form? Now I regret I provide such a long file name. FRM count the number of digits .aspx. Okay, so how am I supposed to go and do that? I will use the response object. Response object is a good friend of the browser, but I'm going to do a redirect. Right, redirect to where? Redirect to FRM count the number of digits .aspx. Okay, okay. So this is how I'm telling the response object to tell the browser, right? Say, hey, can you please navigate to this web form or not? So that's the meaning. Just navigate only. So this is what, right? I know that this data variable is going to die soon already. So I need to tell the browser, hey, please lah, save it lah. Then the browser will say, okay lah, you want me to go and store this whatever things entered by the text box here, right? Can, but give me a name lah. So the cookie variable that I'm using is called any data. Okay. Now, how am I supposed to go and prove that I can really receive it? So inside the code behind file of the frm count number of digits, right? I will actually just let me see. I'll actually try to go and probably I'll need a plus equal here, right, in order to accumulate things, right? And I would actually attempt to do this, right? First of all, I need to go and clear the div data first. Then I will actually do data.inner HTML, right, plus equal. Then after here, I'll just put request. What is the meaning of request? Request.Cookies, right? And what is the name of the cookie? Any data. You must provide the correct one. Okay, any data. Dot what? Dot value, right? So this is actually request. Request means what? Request is a good friend of the browser, but it's used to request information from the browser. So in other words, I will actually put that I have what? I have received, right? Received this info, right? Receive this info, and what? Receive this info, right? And the total number of digits found is actually something. So I just try to go and make sure that the information is quite well formatted. Okay. So right now it is time for us to go and do the test, right? I'm going to view in browser for the frm provide data. So notice that I'm not cheating. This is wait, how come receive info? How come? Oh my god, what happened? Oh, do you know what is all mean or not? I put the code in the wrong event method. Why is it here? You notice what happened or not? When I right click the frm provide data, when I view in browser, right, you see this, it will automatically go to the frm count the number of digits, right? Why didn't it stop? Because I put all this code inside page load. Oh my goodness, it is not supposed to be there. So where is it supposed to be? Let me go back to the presentation file. It should be inside the btn send underscore click. So let me actually just cut all this chunk of code here and place it inside the event method. So that's why we have to use the correct event method. Now why did it automatically go to the web form? It's because when the page is loading, right, basically, right, there's no data given, cookie is written, but this code will definitely execute. It will tell the web browser to go to the other web form. That's why it happens so fast. Okay, right? My stomach is hungry already. Okay, now so let me actually do a final testing. Come on, test please, quick. I hope this one can work. Let me see. Right click, view in browser. So enter something. Let me see. I'll just put what? Pizza, right? 4 pizza. No, this one I'll just put 55, and then after this I'll just put 888, something auspicious. So how many digits do you detect here? 5 digits, 6 digits, right? Correct or not? So when I click send, what will happen? When I click send, all these information will be extracted from the text property and it will be stored inside data. But we know that this data variable will die soon. So all this information will be assigned from the data into the value property that belongs to the new cookie that is going to be stored inside the browser. So what is the name of this cookie variable? Any data. Okay. Then after that, I will redirect the web browser to another web form, and another web form will retrieve this information by using the request.cookie, and I must provide the correct cookie variable or else I won't be able to go and get the information I need. Okay. So right now I will actually come back to the browser, and what should I expect to see? I should expect to see, click, receive this info, pizza 4, pizza 5588. The total number of digits is I am right. Okay, now let us test again. This one is ABC, and this one I'll just put 777, and this one Mickey, then after that I'll just put 4. How many digits do you detect here? 4 digits, right? So I'm going to click. How come it is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 4 digits. How come the total number of digits found is 6? ABC77. How come it is 6? Why is it 6? Counter if the index of character is more than 0. Oh, I know why already. You see here, it is still hard coded. It is still hard coded, right? This is the this is of course good. But you will notice that the data variable, it was used for the checking part, right? So in other words, I will actually need to go and copy this part here, and I will actually need to go and place it right here, right here, in order to go and collect the cookie information. So let me actually just right click and rebuild, and let me do a back, and this is actually the value here. I should expect to see a 4, right? Notice that the total number of digits is 4. So what was the mistake just now? I retrieved the information by using the cookies, by using the request.cookies. I successfully proved that this is how a web form, other web forms can retrieve information, and this is how more than one web form share data. This is how more than one web. But I did not use the request.cookies to pump the information into the data variable, because the data variable was used in this logic here to go and count the total number of digits. That's why just now, no matter what I enter, it always give me 6, because it was still using the hard-coded information. So this is a proper way of me requesting the information back from the web browser. So I hope you learned a lot of things, and I sincerely hope that you can actually practice writing the code in this session here, because it is a very quick summary of how we all build our capability in writing logic in programming language. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. It's pizza time. Bye bye.